In the heart of Nigeria, where the savannas meet bustling cities and tranquil villages, a century of healing unfolds. Today, we embark on a journey through time to celebrate a century of dedication and triumph. Welcome to NVRI 100 Years of History. Our journey unfolds against the backdrop of a region scarred by the first panzootic of rinderpest in West Africa. Between 1885 and 1890, a relentless wave of disease claimed 90% of the cattle population. The echoes of this catastrophe lingered, and when the drought and famine of 1912 and 1913 struck, another wave of panzootic swept through in 1913 and 1914. The aftermath was devastating, witnessing a drastic reduction in the cattle population from 9.01 million to 2.7 million. In the wake of such calamity, the colony and protectorate of Nigeria recognized the urgent need for veterinary services. The decision was made to establish them swiftly. However, the exigencies of the First World War from 1914 to 1918 introduced unavoidable delays, underscoring the challenges faced by those who sought to protect the nation's precious cattle. It is against this backdrop of adversity that our story truly begins. In 1924, a humble laboratory emerged, dedicating itself to the formidable task of combating rinderpests. NVRI, born in the shadows of crisis, quickly evolved into a beacon of hope.
There are so many defining moments, starting from when the Institute began in 1924. It was established on the back of an outbreak called rinderpest, which depopulated the African cattle population by up to 90%. And at that time, the colonial administration felt there was a need to begin to look at how to control this devastating disease. And so the Institute was established on the back of that disease, and a vaccine was developed.
In the dramatized scenes before you, witness the pivotal moments that defined NVRI's early years. Young scientists, driven by a fervent dedication to their mission, isolated the rinderpest virus. The production of the first antiserum became a triumph over adversity, and hope flourished as vaccinated cattle began to graze freely.
So we like to say that the animal disease control strategy of the Institute began from in 1924 with the quest to control rinderpest. Thankfully, rinderpest has been eradicated from the face of the world. Everywhere is now rinderpest free.
NVRI's odyssey didn't conclude with the triumph over rinderpests. Instead, it marked the inception of a transformative era, a period where the institution, like a vigilant guardian, confronted challenges such as Newcastle disease and trypanosomiasis head-on. And also,
for the West African sub-region, NVRI played a very key role in producing vaccines, providing disease surveillance, and controlling and eventually eradicating the disease. So, per decades, this is what has been going on. Right now, we produce about 20 different animal vaccines, and for a majority of those vaccines, they have been developed here, and they were produced by our research staff over the last 100 years.
Join us as we delve into the realms of breakthroughs and innovation. The corridors of NVRI echoed with the footsteps of pioneers, scientists whose unwavering commitment shaped a legacy. They stood at the forefront of battles against Newcastle disease, the relentless adversary, and the insidious trypanosomiasis. These weren't just scientific endeavors, they were endeavors that touched the lives of countless farmers. In the following moments, you will meet the architects of these breakthroughs, individuals whose brilliance illuminated the path to progress. But this journey isn't just about sterile laboratories. It's about the heartbeat of communities and the resonance of change.
My first responsibility was taking care of rabbits. Rabbits belong to the small animals, and they use them mainly for experiments, for vaccine testing. And so that was my first responsibility. I was attached to the diagnostic division. And so for many years, I worked with the Dagwong farm, taking care of the rabbits, and also involved in surveillance and diagnosis of diseases.
Diagnostic services is one of the key mandates of the National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM. And you know, in management of cases, whether it's human or animals, you need diagnosis.
This is where the Department of Bacteriology, Parasitology, and Biology became very critical as part of this institute.
The institute has contributed a lot in the development of the country as a whole.
We undertake policy formulation from that. Policy formulation in the sense that we assess the output or outcome of those projects and activities, and then we're in position to advise management on a better way to go.
I headed the virology research lab or viral research lab, which eventually metamorphosed to the regional lab, regional support lab for West and Central Africa, supported them by FAO. And when the regional economic commissions took responsibility, it became regional support lab for West Africa. That's under the ECOWAS, and that's what it is now.
It plays an integral role in fulfilling the mandate of the Institute. The Extension Services play so many roles. Our cardinal role is to bring our services to the doorstep of livestock farmers?
Our early years here were very memorable. Every weekend we had byproducts sent to us from the farms, eggs, bacon, and other byproducts of research. And then milk was available.
I headed a unit in the parasitology department, which is the entomology research laboratory. Entomology is an area of parasitology or a subject on its own that's quite interesting. It's the study of insects. All that insects you see around you, they are useful one way or the other. Useful in the sense that they can be harmful, and if you study them and know how to take care of the diseases they can carry, that's the usefulness there. And on the other hand, there's the other aspect of entomology, which is the agri-entomology. And that is where the bees come in, the pollination and all of that.
I came to NVRI as an assistant director, and I worked in NVRI before I later became a director. As a former executive director, research was a high line on my calendar.
I was posted to bacteriology division of the institute. And I was asked to start learning how to produce vaccines.
When I went to VOM, it was multidisciplinary. We had parasitologists, we had immunologists, we had biochemists, and these were the core of the research.
As Director of Finance and Account, working with funding partners have been a wonderful experience. We have received grants. They usually have a guideline of how you are expected to operate. That is, for them giving you fund, you must be able to retire such fund. And for those ones that we have partnered with, at least for the past 1 year plus, the retirement has been perfect. The reports have been sent on time.
Listen closely as we share the voices of those whose fields were not only sown with crops but with hope. Farmers once started by the uncertainties of livestock diseases now stand as witnesses to a transformation brought about by NVRI. Their tales reflect the profound impact on food security and the welfare of the very animals that sustain their way of life.
I also want to make sure that the women farmers benefit, and so we do interact with them, we support them, we have projects that are specifically geared towards female farmers to support them to improve their productivity.
All these goats you see around here are West African goats, dwarf goats that we have been breeding here, and they have been helpful to us because when we need money to pay our children's school fees or feeding, we sell them and get money. For NVRI that is close to us here, we can get vaccines to vaccinate our animals. And our animals have been healthy for years. It has been helpful. So all our goats are doing well, are doing fine because of the vaccines.
I've been into poultry for over 10 years now. And since I started, I've been using my vaccination from NVRI.
I got my rabbits from National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM. And that's where I started the whole farming business. And so NVRI has actually helped in that. In the process of our growth, National Veterinary Research Institute being a research institute, most times when we have issues of mortality, we usually take the carcasses to diagnostic for post-mortem. So from there we get results to know what to give our animals, and that has really helped the growth of the farm.
We're into poultry production, and we've been doing it over the years with the assistance of NVRI. We take vaccines for NVRI, and then we have been doing a lot of collaboration. So I, for one, I want to attest to the fact that the vaccines are excellent. Therefore, urge farmers to let's keep the jobs at home. Let's keep our jobs working by patronizing the NVRI vaccine that I can attest that they are potent.
With the NVRI around us, we have seriously have vaccines like PPR, Newcastle, and even anthrax for our animals. We are really grateful for that vaccine, and we have extension unit of NVRI here, which they have built for us for poultry production. Apart from that, NVRI with the PPR vaccine, we have rare cases of those issues within us. So it has perfectly helped us.
Our relationship with NVRI had existed from our childhood. Now, NVRI is 100 years. We have had a cordial relationship with them over the years, and their vaccines have been effective on our livestock. The National Veterinary Research Institute, VOM, has a network of outstation laboratories strategically located across Nigeria. These laboratories play a crucial role in enhancing animal health, improving livestock productivity, and supporting the nation's agricultural development.
As the sounds of time shifted, so did the role of NVRI. Entering an era marked by the emerging diseases, the Institute became a bulwark against the invisible forces threatening both animal and human well-being. Navigate with us through these turbulent waters, where NVRI faced new adversaries and forged alliance on a global scale.
Our laboratories need to be of international standards. They have to be certified and accredited for the work that we do so that the results are internationally recognized. So our laboratories are certified ISO 17025. We have a lot of collaborations with UN agencies. We have donor partners. We have other similar institutions like ourselves across the world that partner with us and provide support.
We get a lot of samples from the Jos University Teaching Hospital. We get samples from the Veterinary Teaching Hospital in Polo. I think all around Nigeria, samples come to us here. And when you talk about people wanting to work on leptospirosis too, they also, they will have to look for the people working on it in NVRI, because this is where we have the specialization, people that have the skill.
We produce vaccines that are fit for purpose, that are measured to international standards, and that are still serving the country.
NVRI had made a mark. The type of students that came from different countries, from West Africa as a whole. I know many of them. Former president of Gambia, Dauda Jawara, was a student in animal health. This school was established long ago to help in the course of research. And I'm very proud to be associated with all this history, knowing people that came from Cameroon, from Mali, from Togo, Gambia, Sierra Leone. It was a mini West Africa.
The dawn of the 21st century witnesses NVRI not merely adapting, but orchestrating a transformative symphony of scientific breakthroughs. Picture a tapestry where strands of genomics and bioinformatics converge, weaving a narrative of unprecedented discovery. Step into the beating heart of innovation, where every stride is a testament to NVRI's commitment to shaping the future. Now, let's delve deeper and meet the visionaries steering this epoch of healing.
NVRI has participated directly with developing strategies for disease control. A lot of the disease control measures that are in place in Nigeria have had NVRI's research inputs.
NVRI played a very significant role in the diagnosis, in the production of vaccines for the control of disease and the eventual elimination of that disease.
When COVID came, it took the world by surprise. Rinderpest was the phenomenon of the time, and when it came, we took care of it. It was a humongous task.
And while the country was in crisis, they were able to mention that NVRI has a facility and capacity to make diagnosis of COVID-19.
Rabies particularly is caused by a virus called rabies virus. This disease affects the central nervous system of man and animals.
Here within NVRI, our mandate covers all animal diseases. And so any animal disease, anthrax inclusive, has to be brought here for the final diagnosis.
We participated actually during the COVID effort, even though we're animal side, not the human side. But we have a biosafety level 3 laboratory, which is what is required for the testing of samples, whether they're COVID or Ebola or any of the high consequence pathogens that we have heard about, monkeypox, which is now called Mpox, and Lassa fever. We have a certified laboratory that is able to do that.
After receiving the samples from at the reception, we do necropsy, and samples from the tissues, carcass, are taken to the various laboratories for laboratory analysis, and then all the results are collated, and then the pathologist will sit down and issue a diagnostic report. The carcasses are taken into the incinerator, where they will be incinerated, and the ashes are evacuated and put in the pit.
As we celebrate the centenary anniversary of NVRI, it is delightful to have the Governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang, and the former Governor of Plateau State, Senator Simon Bakula Long, sharing their experiences with NVRI, their collaborative efforts and visions. Here they are in their own words.
First, let me say the NVRI, which is a research institute, has been a great blessing to us on the plateau, to Nigeria, and I believe the entire West African sub-region. Their researches have provided solutions to real and potential threats to animal health and their consequent impact on human health. And so this lab, when it eventually comes on stream, is going to enhance the research efforts of this great institute in trying to combat animal health, animal disease, and the potential impact it has on human health.
The work of NVRI, especially contributions of NVRI to the development of Nigeria.
Livestock business has been with us for a long time. And just like other aspects of agriculture, where we have done it, just for food for the family, we now want to be able to take livestock business to a business level, a level that impacts the economy. And so collaboration with institutes like NVRI becomes very, very important and critical, because you now are able to get healthy animals that you throw into the economy. Therefore, we must rely on NVRI, not only in terms of research, in terms of production of vaccines, and all the other ancillary veterinary services they render, in order to be able to preserve good animal health that would then be transferred to human beings.
I said it before the Senate, we must go back and make sure that all the impediments that are retarding the progress of that institution is clear, and so that we can focus on the livestock, properly on the livestock industry. You can't talk about the livestock industry when there are no vaccines. You can't talk of livestock industry when you can't take care of the animals. So the only places that you can produce them are institutions like research institutions like that can produce vaccines for the rearing of for these animals that we're talking about.
The creation of the Ministry of livestock development, veterinary services and fisheries signals our intention to raise the bar, to up the ante, as it were, in livestock business. And we believe that it's not going to be, we don't know it all, so there has to be stakeholder engagement. And once we bring stakeholders on board, NVRI certainly will play a critical role. And so we're going to be depending certainly on their advisory services on how to be able to promote livestock business, livestock health, and make sure that not only are the livestock healthy, that they do not pose any threat to the environment or to human lives, and therefore we'll be able to drive the economy. The livestock economy has a huge potential, particularly on the plateau here.
In the heart of Nigeria, a legacy unfolds, a legacy of healing, innovation, and community. As we celebrate 100 years, let us look forward to the next century with unwavering dedication, boundless innovation, and collaborative spirit.
For NVRI to have lasted 100 years and still continue to remain the flagship in that sector tells a lot about the progress it has made. And I want to congratulate the staff and all the researchers that have passed through there, the leaderships, and of course the government that has given support for it to survive, the partners who have also been able to make inputs for it to keep going. It has been a collaborative journey, and I like to always point out to NVRI as one of Nigeria's success stories. So I say congratulations.
My goodwill message to NVRI is for them to stay on track. My best wishes for this institution is that someday, not only Africa, but the world will see that as an example.
Well, now that the place is 100 years old, I honestly wish this institute very, very successful and memorable celebrations, so that the good deeds of the past will always be remembered about that institute. And I wish them the best.
We are now going to celebrate 100 years as an institute. So I'm looking forward to the institute finally coming up with a company of its own.
100 years is a lot of time. And I know that in another 100 years, NVRI would have... I'm looking forward to an explosion.
I wish Dr. Mrs. Mohammed and her team a very successful centenary celebration.
The only goodwill message I have for NVRI is to keep the ball rolling. Keep the ball rolling. Keep the ball rolling. Finish.
I wish the Institute more 100 years.
So my goodwill message is that God Almighty will help our leaders to look in the direction of research and agri development and make VET even better than what it was.
So I want to congratulate the executive director, and I'm also happy, want to give my goodwill to the staff of the entire NVRI for giving their support.
Mun ji daɗin wannan bukin da zai yi na wanda za mu cika shekara 100 a VET. Allah ya kai mu mun gani amma waɗansu ba su gani ba. To mun gode ma Allah.
I wish them all the best, and I wish another 100 years.
The forthcoming 100 years centenary celebration will be delightful and exciting to witness, having worked in National Veterinary Research Institute for 35 years.
I can only wish them lots of success.
I wish them progress, actually.
Yes, I wish them a lot of good things to happen to them.
To see this celebration of 100 years, I'm very, very happy among the living ones.
I want to first and foremost start with the previous directors. They've done a lot to put a solid foundation for that place to grow. For those of them who are still alive, I wish them all the best. Those who have gone, well, they've done their best.
To all the staff of NVRI is to start by thanking them for their support over the last 4 years of my being at the helm of affairs, and to say thank you for the support even when things are difficult. I have enjoyed a tremendous amount of support from my staff, and I am very grateful for that. I would like to wish everyone a happy centenary celebrations, including the staff who are here today, those who have served NVRI in the last 100 years, and even those who are aspiring to become part of this wonderful community that is NVRI. Thank you once again, and happy celebrations.
As we celebrate a century of dedication to animal health and welfare, we honor the pioneers, scientists, and professionals who have shaped our journey. From breakthrough discoveries to life-saving innovations, the National Veterinary Research Institute VOM has been a beacon of hope for a healthier world. Here's to many more years of advancing veterinary science, protecting public health, and improving the lives of animals and humans alike. May the next 100 years of NVRI be filled with continued excellence, collaboration, and a shared passion for a better future for all.